Welcome back, everyone. This is Aluminum Tarot. Thanks so much for joining. Again, as always, we're going to be doing the readings for this month. And for now, we're going to do the reading for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, from this point until mid-February next month. And so what we'll do, we'll look into some of the energies that are taking place, whatever the messages that come out that are revealed, we'll discuss that and that alone. And yeah, we'll just see, hopefully that goes in the right direction. So order of the day is, as always, if you like what you see here, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell, leave comments below, and so on to support the channel. And additionally, if you want to support monetarily, there's a PayPal link in the description box below, which you can contribute whatever you'd like for that. And I do appreciate those, large and small. They help out in a great way. So we're looking into, coming into the age of Aquarius. We are, we're pretty much in that sign now. We will be entering into this, over the next few days, incrementally increasing in power. And there will be a lot of different aspects that take place for that. If I'm not mistaken, both Mercury and Pluto are also in Aquarius, so those will be making strong conjunctions to the sun of this particular sign. And that might stir up some shit, not to be, too crass about it, but we may see some things taking place within the ether of this, physical realm. Looking into what people are saying in politics, looking into what people are saying in, our everyday affairs, which are going to stir up controversy, chaos a little bit. That's kind of what I see taking place for that. However, we do have sextile north node, or the true north, which talks a little bit about, us getting into our true purpose, being able to ascertain and understand what it is that is required of us in this lifetime in order to make the progress into our more authentic self. So that said, we're going to go ahead and get right into it, Cancer. We're going to see what's taking place for you. And what we have up front, we have the Son of Pentacles in the reverse. That is the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. And this is clarified by Seven of Pentacles in the reverse as the challenge. So intuitively, what I would say here is that you're in a period right now where you feel that things are very stagnant and very stuck. It's very difficult for you to move forward and actually make progress in the tangible or the material world. And it's difficult for you to understand specifically what you should continue to invest in order for things to clear up. So the challenge for you is finding out what to stop investing in, since the Seven of Pentacles is in the reverse. If it was in the upright, it would say, like, maybe you need to invest in the right things, or maybe you need to keep investing in what you're doing. And the challenge is to maintain that momentum. In this case, it's saying something you need to let go of and you need to stop investing in, which is creating this feeling of stagnation. And so we move into, the first card that defines what's taking place. We have the Queen of Swords in the reverse. That's a very rough energy to be in, because what it talks about, it tells us that, we have been in a very foul mood, to say the least. Normally the Queen of Swords is a bit reticent, but she is able to communicate in a diplomatic and fair way, to say the least. Queen of Swords in the reverse doesn't do that. You are all sorts of bitches and motherfuckers when you deal with the Queen of Swords in the reverse. And unfortunately, it's not the best energy for people, especially who have been dealing with heartbreak. Clarifying this, we have the Ace of Wands. I'm thinking what's taking place here was a sexual relationship or a potential new start with someone that you thought was going to be a positive relationship for you. We're now seeing that that is not the case, and that has left you with feelings of deep bitterness and resentment. Moving forward into the future, though, we do have the King of Wands, clarified by the High Priestess. So we have King of Wands. Normally this is a person, could be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And this person is normally, they take control, they move forward, they can be a bit flighty, and they can delve into being a player in some cases, some instances. But the High Priestess, clarifying this, what I think you're going to start doing is using your intuitive faculties to understand the difference between what it is that you're looking for and what it is that's going to mess about with you. And it's important for you to to know and understand and actually tap more into that, into your intuition and that intuitive faculty that is the guiding force that allows you to make sound decisions in life. When you have encountered like a King of Wands, or like a Two of Cups in the reverse, or a King of Cups in the reverse, a Knight of Cups in the reverse, King of, or a Knight of Wands, those types of cards, the player cards as they call them. And we realize that if that's what we want, fine. But if it's not what we want, we have to see them as they approach us, because they approach us in a specific way. These knights, these kings, they're always making forward movement. And they're either a master of their craft or they're learning it. So say, for instance, you keep running into the same men or women, then it's time to say, okay, how are they approaching me? What kind of specific attributes do they have that are, all the familiar signs and symptoms of being a player or a 304, whatever you want to call it, and then you proceed and act accordingly. So it's about not feeling as if, oh, why is this all happening to me? It's about taking some personal accountability based on what these people are showing you in the initial stages of a relationship, even if it's related to a job or even the way you approach something. It might be time for you to reflect on this retroactively or retrospectively, and then finally understand the path you need to take and the rules and the boundaries that you need to set in order to deal with these people on a more fair footing. Because what we see here, right, we have the Page of Pentacles once again, and then after that, we have the, if I move it back, the Magician in the reverse. Both of these are in the reverse. So it's about failing to be able to materialize that thing that you really want because you're not learning the mistakes from the past, the pragmatic aspects, issues, problems from the past. So it's like insanity is the same thing, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That is a textbook definition of what that insanity looks like. It looks like the Magician in the reverse and the Page of Cups. Sorry, the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Not being able to learn or to see the lessons that are essential to your growth and development or to achieving a specific goal. When we see what is already known, though, we have the Page of Wands in the reverse. And then we have Four of Wands. So, the Page of Wands can actually talk about, it can be a child. Pages are usually represented by children. And you do have two children in here representing the Page of Pentacles in the reverse and then the Page of Wands in the reverse. If you have a child in your life or children that are being immature, being reckless, being a bit haughty, things like that, pouty, shouty, all of those things, then maybe that's something that this is related to. And with the Four of Wands there, it could relate to the home life and the way things are going in your home life. Furthermore, if you want to look at it as Page of Wands in the reverse, as not having the interest or even the knowledge to proceed forward, to be inspired by things taking place in your home life, then perhaps this is one thing that you can kind of reflect on. So that way, the way you build your home, your family, things of that nature are worthy of your time and attention, rather than you just trying to create a family, but then it's like you're creating a family in the sense that you are doing it in a very immature or short-sighted way. You would know best how this relates to you, and every person's story is different. This is an algorithm. Just apply it to your life and how it, it would correspond that way. Looking into this, within kind of see what this is all about. One of the things I saw, before I started doing the reading, we have the Two of Cups in the reverse. And then we have, clarifying those two things, the Emperor in the reverse, and then the Chariot in the upright. So for this deck, it's very clear cut about this. This is about being detached or disconnected or falling out from either an authority figure, a husband who was very controlling, very difficult to deal with, or even an aspect of yourself which is very controlling and difficult to deal with. Just because it's an emperor doesn't mean it has to be a male or female. And then the Chariot, moving on, making progress. It's almost like you grip the reins too tight on something. With the Chariot, there are no reins. As you can see in most of the depictions of the Chariot is about trust and being propelled into a life, into a new stage of life, where this is going to happen by you trusting the positive and negative forces of the universe to guide and lead you directly to whatever it is that waits on the other side of that progress. And so for you, if it feels like the Emperor who is sat in the Chariot is out of control, you will direct your life out of control. And I keep stressing this quote from Carl Jung. He says, if you do not make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And this is very true, and I want to stress this as many times as necessary, because in our life, we often run into repeat situations where we are then forced to deal with something that has been underlying within our own hearts, minds, and imaginations, and that we have not given credence to or understood fully because they have remained dormant and subconscious. We have refused to look at the abyss. The abyss has looked into us, and the abyss has taken control of our lives, leading it to that ruin that we have failed to, take accountability for the things that we have, brought about in our life, things that we have materialized, people that we have attracted, and so on and so on. It's important that we now look at that in a new light, so that way we can avoid those pitfalls in the future. And what I do see here with this Six of Wands here, we do talk a little bit about there is a level of success that should take place in the future if you can recognize this. Clarify, Six of Wands. Okay. So Six of Wands clarified by the Hermit in the reverse. No, Two of Wands in the reverse. And then, what is that? Queen of Pentacles? Yeah. King of Pentacles. And then we have the World. So looking into this, what we find is that in order to rise above all of the problems that you find yourself facing for this particular period, you have to firstly internalize the messages that you have received while going deep within to explore that unconscious realm that we just, discussed and talked about. And then after that, we have to go further into the abyss and reroute ourselves so that we can find a better and firmer foundation for our life. So this is the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles is about creating that firm foundation. It's not always related to work, but it's about mastering the ability to create a space to which you can build upon everything else in your life, and then finally have that tower, which is not going to get toppled over. Now, with the third card, I do have to cover up some of it because it does show a little bit of adult action there. We talk about the World card. Once you do that, you can then close out the cycle. And that was precisely what I was speaking about earlier. Come out, learn the messages, learn the wisdom that you need to know, in order to bring these things to a conclusion and also bring things into a more stable footing. A failure to do that will make you repeat the process all over again. Now, what we talked about the chariot, being able to trust and to have faith in what's going to take place next. We have this as our oracle message for the Angelarium Tarot, the oracle messages. And this is Keter. This is the crown chakra. It sits above the individual and is basically like the guidance system. It's the star that the universe gives us in order for us to be connected to it and to receive the messages that we need in order to make the most sound decisions, to know things, to know without actually experiencing things. It's kind of like our consciousness. And this is going to be very important. It's our consciousness, which then feeds into our third eye chakra, which is our individual consciousness. So it's like our macrocosm and our microcosm here. Now, this is about the rudder system that you need in order to guide your life. Trust that intuition a bit more, and you'll be able to navigate those pitfalls that we spoke about throughout this reading here. And additionally, we have another message that talks about that, which is surrender to the divine. And by surrendering to the divine, we can then start tapping into that crown chakra, which will then help us to tackle and solve problems that have accumulated for us throughout our lives. When we do not trust spirit in a lot of the things that we do, especially critical moments like the Lovers or Judgment card, we talk about these things. And oftentimes in the major arcana, we have multiple cards that do insinuate choice. We talked again about the Lovers card, the Devil card. We talk about Judgment. And these three cards, just to name a few, they talk about making a choice for your highest good, which is the Lovers, making a choice for your lowest good, your lowest bad, if you want to say, which is the Devil. And then Judgment is when the universe makes the choice for you. And it says, okay, here, we're going to do it our way now. And so in saying that, a lot of what I see in this message is about, in order to make these choices and take the high road, we have to first tap into that crown chakra, which is our guidance system, our radar for the decisions that we make in our life. They guide our consciousness in order for us to make it to the proper destination. So no matter what, if you're dealing with unscrupulous people, if you're trying to boss up a little bit, maybe you're stepping into that Father of Wands, that, King of Wands energy, by trusting that intuition. And that's going to help right the issues from the past, bring you back into a more positive energy, other than the Mother of Swords, the Queen of Swords in the reverse. This is what's going to help you. And as a Cancerian, I assume that you would have a strong enough intuition to be able to redirect yourself and to guide your life into that new kind of territory. I'm going to leave it there. My voice is going shot right now, but thank you so much for your time and attention. Hopefully this has been of help for you. Hopefully this has been also of some kind of service. Until next time, love and light. Take care. Bye now.